Dear students, now let us study the next property of square numbers, that is numbers between square numbers. We know the square numbers, that is 1 square is equal to 1, 2 square is equal to 4. Now in between 1 and 4 there are other numbers which are not perfect squares. Which are the numbers between 1 and 4? 2 and 3. So how many numbers are there? 2. How many numbers are there between 1 and 4 which are not perfect squares? There are 2 numbers between 1 and 4 which are not perfect squares. So there are 2 non-square numbers. 1 square and 2 square are square numbers, and between 1 square and 2 square there are 2 non-square numbers. And 3 square is equal to 9. Now between 2 square and 3 square, that is between 4 and 9, there are numbers 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 numbers between 2 square and 3 square which are not perfect squares. So there are 4 non-square numbers between 2 square and 3 square. Now the next square number is 16. Now between 3 square and 4 square there are how many non-square numbers? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. There are how many? 6. There are 6 non-square numbers between 3 square and 4 square. Now the next square number is 25. So between 4 square and 5 square there are how many non-square numbers? After 16 the number is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. How many? There are, count. There are 8 non-square numbers between 4 square and 5 square. So these are the numbers between square numbers. Now let us consolidate the property. Between 1 square and 2 square, that is 1 square is equal to 1, 2 square is equal to 4. There are 2 non-square numbers. There are 2 non-square numbers. Between 1 square and 2 square, there are 2 non-square numbers, that is 2 into 1. Between 2 square and 3 square, that is between 4 and 9, there are 2 into 2. There are 4 non-square numbers. Between 3 square and 4 square, that is between 9 and 16, there are 6. That is 2 into 3 non-square numbers. Between 4 square and 5 square there are 8 non-square numbers. Now observe here, between 1 square and 2 square there are 2 into 1. Between 2 square and 3 square there are 2 into 2. Between 3 square and 4 square it is 2 into 3. Between 4 square and 5 square there are 2 into 4, and 2 is common here, everywhere we have 2. So 2 into the first number, that is 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can say how many non-square numbers between any 2 square numbers. Now see here, between 6 square and 7 square there are 12, because 2 into 6, that is 12 non-square numbers. Between 10 square and 11 square there are 2 into 10, that is 20 non-square numbers without counting we can say how many square numbers, non-square numbers are there between two square numbers. So without counting we can say how many non-square numbers are there between two square numbers. The formula you have to remember is between n square and n plus 1 whole square there are 2n non-square numbers. N square and n plus 1 whole square, they are two consecutive square numbers. Now between two consecutive square numbers there are 2n non-square numbers. For example, between 100 square and 101 square there are 2 into n. N is the first number, that is 100. There are 200 non-square numbers. Between 50 square and 51 square there are 2 into first number, that is 50. 2 into 50, that is 100 non-square numbers. Between 29 square and 30 square, how many non-square numbers are there? That is 2 into the first number, that is 29. 2 into 29, that is 58 non-square numbers. So without counting we can say how many non-square numbers are there between two square numbers. You have to remember the formula. Between n square and n plus 1 whole square there are 2n. Double the first number. So in general there are 2n non-perfect square numbers are there between square of n and n plus 1. Remember, between any two consecutive square numbers there are 2n non-perfect square numbers. N is the first number, n plus 1 is the second number. So there are 2n non-perfect squares are there between two square numbers. Now try this. How many natural numbers lie between 9 square and 10 square? Here no need of counting. You have to remember the formula, that is 2 into first number. First number is 9. 2 into 9, that is 18. And in similar way you have to do how many natural numbers are there between 11 square and 12 square. In the similar way 100 square and 101 square, 90 square and 91 square, 1000 square and 1001 square. Find how many non-square numbers are there or how many natural numbers are there between two square numbers. That is, you have to double the first number. Now try this so that you will remember the concept in your mind.